All right, the first thing I'm gonna do before I move this thing and get good photos of it so I can get all the way around it, so I'm gonna fire her up. She hasn't been started in about 3 days. She wasn't started before that for like 6 months. But this motor, and I don't really know the history on this Jeep as far as what's been done to it, other than it's a very good starting point for somebody who's doing a rebuild or a restoration, because it's a very rare Jeep. It's a factory 4-speed and a 1970-71. The title is a 70, I believe, but I'll confirm that in the ad. It's a factory 4-speed with 488 gears in the axles, and it's in really good shape. I mean, even the body, it's got some surface areas, but no major rust areas. So the original thing that was going to happen to this Jeep was it's going to be a parts Jeep, but after sitting in a barn for like 6 months and literally coming out, and then like I said, even sitting for a few days, you'll see this motor. So what I'll do is pop the hood here. I'm going to put the phone down just for a sec so I can open the hood here. Maybe I can do it without. Okay. So it's the Buick V6, the Dauntless V6, and according to a lot of my Jeep buddies, this is probably the best Jeep engine they ever put. Obviously, that's a matter of opinion, but it was the most power and whatnot. So firewall is exceptionally clean. Inner fender wells are clean. And for the most part, other than this is why I think somebody should take this Jeep and restore it. Although it runs good and you can drive it as is and throw a paint job on it and not do much to it and use it as a hunting rig, you can also, it's a great Jeep to do a full restoration on and whatnot. So without further ado, I'll fire this guy up here. I'm gonna put the windshield back against here. And then I wanted to show you too, this is the exhaust here. Obviously, without any hesitation, I'm holding on to it, so it's not, it's not hot at all. It's cold. I haven't fired it up today at all. So, and I'm telling you that because it's so, and often, in my opinion, so many times I see a Jeep, and once you get them idled and warmed up, they run good, but never do they just fire up and just run so smoothly like this thing will. You'll hear it in a second. So there's a trick with this key, and I don't know if this is kind of a standard thing with the ignitions on these old ones or what, but I will show you what I mean here. You turn it one way to fire it up, and you got to turn it the other way to get the starter to disengage. So all right, so it's to the left to fire her up and to the right to turn her off. We'll make sure we're out of gear, obviously. Okay. So there we go. So you see I turn left and then turn right. I'm not giving it any gas. My foot's nowhere to be down by the gas pedal. And she's running. And she's running really well, like idling perfectly. You can see why this would be, even for our purposes, just to pour it out would be good. Pour it out, but the motor's smooth. There's nothing shaking on it. Before I give her any gas, I'll let her warm up a little bit. So yeah, so what you see is what you get. It does have a tow bar in the front here. So you could drive her, you could come out and tow her home, which is what is how we got her up here, and it towed fine about 200 miles. So you should be fine. It's got good tires on it to tow it anywhere pretty much in the country. Or we can ship it to you, which is, I usually recommend to oftentimes people just to ship things because it's really not that expensive to ship something. Then you don't have to worry about, things going wrong in your trip and whatnot. So, but some guys want to come out and see it, and that's fine too. So now she's warmed up a little bit. I'll let you hear it a little bit. part these things out. There's no doubt about it, but it just is just kind of a hard one to part for us. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll do a quick run around the storage yard. Moose, come on.